have learned that a reliable measure of temperature is, reliable measure of degree of hotness of a body is temperature, isn't it? To know how hot an object, we need to use, to measure the temperature of an object, we need to use a device which is called as thermometer. All of us are familiar with the clinical thermometer, right? You must have seen the clinical thermometer. That is the thermometer which is used to measure our body temperature. But what precautions do we need to take while using a thermometer? Okay, what is the precaution that is required to take? How do we read a clinical thermometer? That we are going to learn in this video. Okay, so first of all, this is the clinical thermometer. This is the clinical thermometer. You must have seen this, right? It has readings, graduation, both in, on one side you find it in degrees Celsius, and the other side you will find it in degrees Fahrenheit, right? You find this is the bulb of the thermometer. This is the bulb of the thermometer. There is a small bend that here in the neck which is called as the kink. Okay. This is the mercury, and then there is a scale, and there is a small path through which this mercury can move into it. Right. When we are reading, when we are trying to read this thermometer, what precautions? First of all, we should note down the maximum and minimum range of temperature on this. Okay. And the difference between each, the longer line, that is, what is the range of temperature between each division, and how many smaller divisions are there in between, that we need to note down, and number of divisions shown between the smaller marks. Okay. And before we use a thermometer, before we use especially clinical thermometer, it should be washed with an antiseptic solution. Okay, it should be washed with an antiseptic solution for hygienic sake, and then it should be given a quick jerk like this. It should be given few jerks. Okay, and when you are giving a jerk, you should be careful that your hand is not close to the wall, so that it will go and hit against it. Okay, if it hits against, this is made up of glass, right? You know why it is glass one? The reason is that glass is transparent. You will be able to see the movement of mercury in this. Okay, and moreover, what is present here? The shiny liquid is nothing but mercury metal. Okay, and this is toxic. So glass is dangerous if it breaks, and then this is also liquid, also is this mercury is also toxic. So to avoid that, we need to be very careful when we are handling a thermometer. Okay, so you should not take your hand close to the wall and then give it a jerk. So we should be careful away from the wall, but then hold it firmly and give it a quick jerk like this. Why do you need to give few jerks before you keep it in your mouth? The reason is that there is a marking here which is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius, which is a normal human body temperature. Okay, so before we keep it in the mouth, this has to be, this mercury reading here has to be, this mercury thread has to be below that 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, it should be below 37 degrees Celsius. And there is a kink also here. We'll learn about it. Why the kink is present in this. What is the advantage of that kink also. Okay. Why do you think that there is a kink here? The kink is present so that it will prevent immediately the backward flow of mercury. Okay. Unless we give a jerk like this, this mercury in the long thread will not come back. Okay, so then we have to, after we jerk it, make sure that the mercury level is below 37 degrees. Then it has to be kept in the mouth under the tongue for at least a minute and then taken out, and then the reading can be